Hello and welcome back to my channel Easy Learning with RB. Myself Rakesh Patel, and in today's video we are going to design VBA application for the to-do list. Let's first of all see how this application is going to work, and then later on together we will develop this application again. So without any further ado, let's get started. So this is the first look of the application. This is the running application where we can add the new items. It will give us a blank form where we can put our information, and then when we save it, it adds the row. Automatically it is going to add the task ID. Let's give a test. For example, project. Okay, and then we click on save. When we click on a save, it will give us a new line item in the row and create a blank form, and again cursor will be back to the task. So you can add more than one item at a time over here. Okay, the same way we can highlight. When we click on the row, it highlights the row. Okay, and also give us these two buttons. In case if we click outside, it is not going to change the row or anything. So whenever we click in between the data only, then only we are going to have this thing. Okay, and we have this functionality edit and delete also on the same row. So when we click on edit button, it opens the edit entry, and then it gives us the information to update it. For example, if I click on the pending in process and save this record, you can see that it has changed in process. Okay, and the same way you can delete also. If you click on the delete, it prompts to delete a row, and if you click on a yes, it removes that row. See. Okay, so without wasting time, let's start designing this application together. This is a blank file to do demo, and where we are going to do our coding. I have already created some dummy data and design. You can take your time and design it. These are the two buttons that we are going to use it, and I will show you also how you can assign the macro to these icons. Okay, so let's dive to the Visual Basic. Okay, and here we have nothing right now. I have just added a user form to save the time and just design the form. In this I have done two things right now. One of the thing is that I have labeled all the text boxes as a text column and number. Okay, this is the text column 2, text column 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, and this is a save button I have named as a CMD save, and the title of this form as LBL title. Okay, and in the code I did not write any of the single code right now, so we will start writing code from here. Okay, so first thing first, these are two drop down list. Okay, combo box, you can see the name over here, combo box. Okay, so to fill this information, when we run the here, we should have the drop down values. Okay, so like open, scheduled, pending, in process and complete for the status, and low, high and medium for the priority. And to add that, it is a simple few lines of code where you can write it out. You can write with me. In the initialize event, we will write something like this, and I will explain you. Okay, this is the code that will add values to the column 6 and column 7. Sorry, to the combo box with the name column 6 and column 7. Okay, and in the form we have these two, column 6 combo box for the priority and column 7 for the status. Okay, so to add it, I have used with text column 6 dot add item low, medium and high. This will automatically add values to the form. Okay, you can see low, high and medium is available over here, and in the status also it is there. Okay, now let's create a save option, and to do that we will add this in a module, because we are going to create only single form for the new entry as well as edit. So on the both the action, when we create a new record and when we edit the existing record, we are going to have the same form. Okay, so when we click on a save button, it should identify that it is a new request or a edit value. For that, we will go with the module and we will add some functionality over there that will check if the value is for new or for the edit. Say, for example, sub new to do. Okay, and in this we have the edit form. Okay, let's change the name of the form first of all for the better, like edit form. Okay, so it looks better. Okay, in this let's do edit form dot lbl title equal to new entry. Okay, so when we click on from there, we will have this new entry. The same way, let's make one another. For example, edit to do, and here we will say edit entry. Okay, these are the two macros that we are going to assign to our buttons. Okay, here we have the button. In this button, if we click on assign macro, and we can assign new to do. Okay, and the same way we can assign over here edit to do. For better, let me create one more shape over here, and let's say edit. Okay, later on we will add this functionality to these buttons. Right now, to understand, we are going to do this and edit. Okay, and in both the case, when we click over here, it should open a form also, right? So we will write edit form dot show here as well as here. Okay, now let's test it out. So when we click on here, it should show new entry, and when we click here, it should show edit entry. Okay, this is the first thing that we need to make it out. So when we click on these buttons, the based on this we will create a functionality. Okay, now we already know that these two functions are going to show up the form with the new entry and edit entry. Okay, and when we click on the button save, this is the thing that we need to identify. So if lbl title dot caption equal to new entry, then else, let me copy, else if edit entry, then something, and if. Okay, we are going to do two things. If the user has selected edit entry as a title, when we click on a save, it should execute a save functionality for the new entry, and when we click on edit entry, it should save as the existing one. So I will make two more sub procedures. For example, new entry, do new entry, and do edit entry. Okay, and the same thing I am going to design in the module only. So we will create. Okay, so these are the two procedures that we are going to follow. Let me put msg box new entry saved. Okay, edit entry saved. So we are just confirming out that our functionality is working fine or not. Let's run through this. When we click on add and click on a save, it should say new entry saved. Okay, and when we click on edit and save, it should say edit entry saved. Okay, so first of all, our two buttons are doing good job. Now rest of the functionalities we are going to design. Okay, so we are going back to our module. Okay, first we will start with a new entry functionality. So we will write a code in that module, and then after we will go with edit entry. Okay, so let's remove this, and you can type with me. I'm declaring the variable first of all, dim w as worksheet, and we will set this with the sheet 1. Okay, or we can do like this. We can change the name of the sheet for better understanding. Let's make it to do. Okay, this is going to change the sheet name. if you see on the Excel file, you can see that name is changed. Okay, so you can do that thing from here also. So I will make it to do here. Okay, as a new entry, we have to add at the last row in the table. So we will create a variable with the next row as a long, and we will put a formula that will find the last empty row in the table based on the first column. Okay, so you can write with me like this. And this is one of the standard way to find out the last row in an Excel sheet. Plus 1 indicates the next empty row. Okay, now we will create a loop where we can get the information from the form and put it into the Excel sheet. Let's write for loop for I equal to 2 to 8. 2 to 8 because we have the field value start from text column 2 to text column 8. Okay, and now let's write sheet 1 dot cells of next row comma I dot value. Okay, so we are going to put this value from edit form into bracket. As we have taken text column, so we will string it and concatenate it with the I, so we will get the full name of a control. Okay, now let us test the code and see if it is working fine or not. Let's click on add new. We will put a random number, for example test 1 1 2 3, some data. Okay, and when we click on here, it should add a value at the last. Yep, it is doing very well and it is adding the data to. But when we click on a save, this form did not get cleaned out, so we have to do that functionality also. And the second thing is the cursor was not on the first position. So let's make this code happen. Let's go back to the form module. Okay, here we have to write two things. First of all, we need to clean out the form. To clean the form, we will say edit form of text, or we can just copy this thing. Instead of typing, let's copy dot value equal to blank. Keep in mind that we are pushing the text from the control to the Excel file, but when we need to clean out the information, we use to have the value as a parameter, as a property. Okay, and the next was to put a cursor at the first position. So for that, we will say edit form dot, what was the control name, text column 2 dot set focus. Okay, this two line of code will help us to clean out the form and put the cursor at the first position. Let's do one more test. I'm putting some random value test 2 and let's click on save. It's clean the form and the cursor is at the first position. One more thing happened over here. You can see it is not adding to the table. Okay, it is adding at the last row. It's overwriting the last row. Okay, the whatever the data we have put in earlier, it has been overwritten. Why so? Because we are checking the last row with the reference of first column, and in the first column there is a no data. Okay, so it is overriding over here and here again and again. So let's fix this. For the convenient way, let's create over here, for example, task ID. Okay, here we are going to put some values. For example, last ID is 22. For example, we are going to remove this. Okay, so up to here we have 22 task IDs. Okay, so I am going to reference this cell for the next task ID, and we will automatically add to the system. Later on, we can hide this thing by hiding a column or with the conditional formatting. But as of now, let it be there, and let's do the rest of the code. Okay, module. Okay, now we required to have a new task ID. Let me create a variable here. Dime new task ID as long. Okay, And what is going to be the value for this? New task ID equal to sheet1 dot range of this dot value. Okay, what is the range? That means what is the cell address of that value? It is L7. Okay, L7. We have put in this value at L7. So we will say L7. Whatever the value is at L7, we require that. Okay, and when we add this value to the form, for example, this. Okay, next row of I, instead of I, we are going to put 1, first column. Okay, next row, first column value should be new task ID plus 1. Okay, because we need to add 1 at the end, and once it is saved, we will also say later on that the value is changed. Okay, and sorry, and next we will update this value with the new value. Okay, equal to new task ID plus 1. Okay, even if we don't want to add over here, we can directly do like this, plus 1. So it will automatically add plus 1 to this value, and then later on we will assign this value to the field as well as the text, and over here we will append with t and sign number. Okay, so the next value will be t, then 23, t, then 24, and so on. Okay, let's check if it is working fine. Add new task 111 low open test for task ID and click on save. Yep, we got the value updated, and see over here after 22 it is showing me 23. So whenever I put some data over here, it will automatically increment the value. Okay, so let's click one more save. Here 24, and it's create this ID, and it has also added to the bottom of the row. Okay, so our this functionality is also working fine, but keep in mind that if you remove this value directly from the sheet, you have to update this value also. Okay, later on we can fix it, but if you delete right now, the next row will be 25, not the 23. For example, if I add again something, okay, and save, you will see 25. Okay, the serial number is based on this ID. So even if you delete the record, it is not going to create a duplicate value. Okay, it is incremental. Now our next task is to edit the row. Okay, so instead, this was a temporary button that we have created to show up the form. Now we are going to use these buttons to be worked as a function, and whenever we click over here, it should highlight the row as well as the button should be at the position. So let's do this. Let me remove this particular button, and we will see how we can create from the scratch. I'm just going to take a shape from this thing. Okay, and we can put a text or something. Let's add text from the symbol. Insert symbol. Okay, I'm going to take this check mark, and now let's create a copy of this shape and put a symbol for delete. Now let's format this two symbols with the orange color. You can take your time. I'm just fast forwarding it. Now let's assign the macro to this button. Right click and this. We are going to do not this one, edit to do. Okay, this is going our edit button, and for this we need to have one more subroutines for this. Let's create it over here. Let's say sub del to do. Okay, let's put a message box, and we are going to assign this to that shape. Okay, so let's go there, right click, assign macro, and delete. Okay, so whenever we click over there, it should prompt me for the delete, and whenever I click on edit, it should edit. Now next, now before we start writing about the highlighting the rows, we need to group these shapes to one, because we are going to use that in a code. So let's select both of them. Let's go to selection pane here. Okay, now press Control key from the keyboard and select rectangle 3 and 4. In my case, it could be a different from yours. And then right click and group. Okay, you can rename this group, because we are going to use this name in to reference. Let me put it as a control buttons. Okay, and that's it. Let me copy this, double click on the control button. Let's go to the VB now. Now the selection, we are going to use this name as a reference for the shape. Let's write with shape into the bracket control buttons dot left equal to range of, into the bracket, in the string we are going to have a column name. And what was our column number? It was let's see, yeah, it is I. Okay, so we will put I and sign, and we are going to use the cell reference as a target from our parameter. So we will say target dot row dot left. Okay, now let's copy the row, and then we'll change from left to top. So here we will say that from the top left side of the corner it should be shown. Okay, let's paste it. uh, we wrote with, we are not using with right now, so let's delete it and just continue. Okay, now see, yeah, our wherever our cursor is moving out, the shapes are also being visualized. Okay, now next step is to select a row. On whenever we click on the cell, we need to select that particular row. And to do this, let's select some of the range right now, like this, and we will go to the conditional format and create a new rule. Okay, go to the last option, use formula, and here you have to type one formula, say equal to row bracket equal to cell, and then into the bracket write row in a string. Okay, keep in mind that this is the formula that will help you to select a particular row. Whatever you have selected, it will select that single row. Okay, and now we need to format it. I'm going to take this light yellow. You can take yours, whatever you like the best, and click OK. Now you can see that whenever we click over there, we get the selection. Okay, now after this, our next functionality should be edit row. Okay, when we click over here, we need this information that in which row we have selected, and we need the data from that particular row. So how we can do that? Let's do one thing. Whenever we click, we have the target, right? Target dot row and target dot column is there. So let's take like this, selected row. Okay, don't worry about this, we will hide. Now whenever we select, let make this cell a value that which row we have selected. Okay, and to do that we need to go over developer. Okay, in module, and sorry, in a selection. Okay, over here we get the information that which row has been selected. So here only we'll say that sheet 1 dot range of this dot value equal to target dot row. Okay, and in which row we want to put it out, we will see this is the cell L8. Okay, so L8, L8. Let's see that it is working right now. Okay, whenever we click, we get the row number. Okay, so we have this thing now, and when we click over here we will have this information to be used. Let's see how we can use that. Now let's go to the module, and in a edit, this is the edit form. Okay, so here let's take a variable like time selected row as long, and selected row equal to sheet 1 dot range of L8 dot, dot value. Okay, okay, so in this variable we will have that row number. Now let's use for loop for this. For I equal to 2 to 8, because we have the text columns from text column 2 to text column 8, and we are going to have this feed this value from the Excel file, the selected row. Okay, so edit form of text column and sign I dot value equal to sheet 1 dot cells of selected row comma I, the I column, dot value. Okay, this is how you are going to get the information from the Excel file to the form. Okay, and now let's check if it is working fine or not. Let's go to here and let's click it. And you have an spelling mistake. Okay, see, we have the data now. Now let's click somewhere else. This is the row number 14, conducting training and all that. Let's edit. Yep, we have that information. Okay, so when we click on the on any of the value, we get the details. Okay, now next step is when we click on a save and modify something over here, we need to update the value. If somebody updates something here, it should be updated when we click on a save. So let's check it out that. So that action will be in a edit, do edit entry. Here we need to save the data. The same way we did in a new entry, we just copy and make the modification as required. So let's copy and paste uh, to reduce that thing. And now we don't require next row because we are not adding the values, we are just updating the values, and we know the value is in which row, this value. Okay, selected row. So let's have this variable also. Okay, we don't require a new task ID, these rows are not required. Okay, here we will change from next row to selected row, and whatever the information is updated in the form will be updated. Okay, and we don't require to clean out the form, but we are going to close the form. Once it is updated, we need to close it. Okay, so for that we need to write unload form name. So this will update that value and form get unloaded. Let's see. Okay, let's make this low priority to high, high, and pending to in process, and save. High and in process. Okay, so this is how we can update the values. Now let's come to the final functionality, that is a delete. When we click over here, it should delete the value. Let's go to our VBA, and in the module where we have written our, yeah, over here. Okay, here we are just going to, first of all we need to confirm it out before deleting anything. Whenever we make a delete functionality, try to always make a confirmation. So for that I am using a variable conf, and conf equal to msg box, and now in the bracket I am just putting a message whenever the value is yes or no, it will be selected in a this variable as an integer. So if conf equal to vb yes, then okay, we can only we only want to delete if the value is selected as a yes. Okay, so we will write in this if first of all we need to have that row number. So for that dying, okay, this is how we are going to have that number. Now the tricky part is when we delete it. For the delete, we only require one line of code, that is row of selected row. Okay, you have to write rows, not row. Rows of this dot entire row dot delete. This is the command that will delete the current row position, because we have put a selected row, that is we are going to have some number. If you put a direct number, then it will delete that number value. Okay, so this is the tricky part. Before doing that, we need to take care of something, because we are going to delete this line item, and this line item contains these shapes. Okay, so whenever you delete it, if I delete right now, it is also going to delete these shapes. So to avoid this, we will offset this value and we will ask system to select some another row first and then delete this one. Okay, and to do that, you have to write one more line over here, active cell dot offset. Okay, minus 1 comma 0. So we are just moving one step back. Okay, just we are moving one step back, so automatically system will do like this. If we click over here, it will move towards upside and it will delete this row. Let's do it. As we have completed this, we can just click a delete option over here. It is prompting us to delete the row. We click yes and it is gone. Okay, and what happened if we put this as a comment? I'm just showing you because we are not going to get this back. Let me click over here and just delete it. Click yes and gone. So now you are not having that value. Okay, and we are again getting an error because we don't have that control buttons now anymore. And take, you cannot also do undo over here, because whatever you write from the VBA and execute, it is not going to undo. So when you make this design, take care of this, that you have to put this value, otherwise it will delete that shape. That's it for today tutorial on creating a to-do list app using Excel VBA. I hope you found this video helpful and now feel confident to build and customize your own task manager right in Excel. If you enjoyed this video, make sure give a thumbs up and share with others who might find it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never missed any update on more such Excel VBA tutorial and productivity hacks. If you have any questions, suggestion, or need further clarification, drop a comment below. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning.